Hello, welcome to the special Casper Cup preview episode. I'm LinkingX2 and thank you for coming by. Today we will talk about the teams participating in the 2020 Casper Cup and also about the LCK teams in general. So some disclaimers before. So everything is my subjective opinion based on what I know and what I was able to figure out about players and teams. The team rank depends mostly on the rank I give each players, and this is depending on factors like recency and skill in comparison to other players. This is in no way meant to be offensive towards players that are replacing or that are being replaced. As such, my personal ranking used for the team ranking won't be open or info, so each individual player not. Some ranking info I will share though is like S rank is the best in their position, and C rank is okay, or I just don't have enough information to rank the player. Hope we all have some fun speculating what's going to happen with these changes in the new season or in the Casper Cup in general. Before we dive into the teams though, a quick format overview, as there were quite some changes to the previous Casper Cup. So now we have 10 LCK teams. In previous years we had 20 teams, 10 LCK teams, 8 Challenger teams and 2 teams from the amateur scene. The top 4 LCK teams got a bye to the playoffs, and now with the new format all start in the groups. We have 2 groups of 5 teams, as you see on the screen. The top 3 of each group move on to the knockout stage, with the first 2 getting a bye. Then the groups, they play best of 1s, the quarters is the best of 3, and then semis and finals are best of 5. In this direction nothing has changed. With the format out of the way, now let us finally start with the teams in order of their groups. But before that, please leave a like if you enjoyed it so far, really helps out a lot, and quick reminder to comment your thoughts on the changes or on anything shown in the video down below. Now, let's start with Afreeca Freecs. Afreeca Freecs line up Keen, Dread, Fly, Bang and Lehens. Overall, they did some changes here and there. For example, in the jungle position, they did a very slight change. Dread and Spirit were sharing the role for like most of last year, and now Spirit has moved to a coaching position and Dread will be the starting player, which is not a great change because I thought Spirit was better. So it's just a very slight downgrade, but as Dread was already playing, I have marked this as no change. Then in the support position, Lehens, obviously a very strong and mechanically gifted support, one of the best in that department in this entire year. So yeah, he's obviously an upgrade. And now coming to the real banger, Bang, in the AD carry position. So he is not as old as one might think, but it's still a question if he can go back to his old power, and how did the NA time affect him. Obviously we can't really evaluate his NA performance in comparison to his SKT performances because of many different factors like the language barrier and the team gap and so on and so on. So we can't just say, okay, he was not good in NA, so he will be terrible in Korea. That's not really how this works. But obviously we can't just say, okay, there's a god coming to Afreeca Freecs, and yeah, he will carry everything. So yeah, I'm a bit reserved here, but I still think he will do a solid job here. Then coming to Keen and Fly. So Keen, obviously one of the best top laners, probably if not the best top laner at the moment in Korea. And yeah, Fly, not really an outstanding player per se, but he's doing a solid job. Overall, I have the team getting an A- in overall ranking, with the team getting younger and older players from different sources. I think it's better than what other teams are doing with nearly full rookie teams. So yeah, I think Afreeca Freecs, keeping the core lineup and mostly improving their bot lane, I think that's a good decision, and yeah, they should increase their ranking from last season, if not keep it. Moving to Damwon Gaming, our world champion, not much to say here. They have no changes in 4 positions, and yeah, I can talk hours about how good Canyon, Showmaker and the rest are, but yeah, that's not a Damwon fan video here. Just saying, keeping these 4 is obviously a very good move, as someone like Canyon or Beryl are best in their position, and Showmaker is also in the top 3 for mid laners, that's in Korea. So yeah, where the top 10 in mid laners would be very good. And then yeah, just talking about the top lane, Khan and Chasey. JC, I think he moved in from the Academy roster, and Khan obviously the trade with FPX. And yeah, I have to say Damwon got the short end of the stick, but Khan obviously, he's a very solid player. Not in consistency, but in his heights, he's very solid, and yeah, he can do very well in lane. We have to wait and see if Damwon can play with him off lane. That's often an issue with Khan, that he's way too over aggressive and is not really connected to the rest of his team. That's what we saw on FPX from time to time, and especially on SKT. Overall, S- ranking. If they kept Nuguri, obviously in S+ ranking, but yeah, with the small downgrade here, S-. Moving on to Dragon X, and yeah, we have a lot to talk about that here, because they changed nearly everything. So the only position that didn't change is Pyoshik in the jungle, and yeah, he wasn't looking all that great after the spring split start. And yeah, without Chovy now, it might look even worse. And honestly, Pyoshik was the worst player on the team. His Worlds performance was better than expected, but still not very outstanding. And yeah, let's talk about the different positions. So we get Kingen in the top lane. A small downgrade to Doran, I have to say. It's not a major loss, but it adds to the rest of the team's losses in player roster. So yeah, Kingen, it's okay, but still worse than Doran by quite a bit. Going over the obvious downgrades in the mid lane and the AD carry position. Solkar, Bao and Rebecca the support. Yeah, they're all rookies, and I'm very sorry, but obviously they're worse than the players they are placing. So obviously nearly every player in the world is worse than Chovy. And for Deft, yeah, he's probably not a rank 1 in the AD carry department at the moment, but he's still in the top rankings. As such, a rookie that's coming from Challenger team or Academy teams. Yeah, story. And similar story for Rebecca. Carrier is maybe not as accomplished as Deft, but yeah, he's also a very young and talented player. So yeah, I'm sorry for these three. I also don't have enough information on them, so they are ranked C. I couldn't find really VODs from them playing, but yeah, they're challenger players. Some of them even come from Academy. So yeah, they're all worse in my opinion, and I think in everyone's. So the downgrade trend continues here. Overall, the team will now get a C+, yeah, mainly because of these three rookies. And yeah, there are many unproven rookies on the team, so it's really hard to say how the team will turn out. At least we can say that the team is obviously downgraded overall, because they've lost their best 4 players, where one is an all-star player in Deft, one is on his way to become one in probably Chovy, and the other one, yeah, Carrier was in young outstanding talent. As such, yeah, Dragon X really heavily lost everything here, and I think yeah, they can't absolutely keep their second place from the regular summer split. They will probably spiral down to the bottom, and yeah, probably will do many changes after the spring split. Yeah, I have no hope for like a team with 3 rookies, and then there are not rookie players, players like Pyoshik, who was a rookie last year, and also Kingen, not really sure how long he's playing, but overall he's also not a veteran that can bring experience and stability to the team. And yeah, I'm not even talking about the player level here. Okay, quickly moving on to SandBox. So SandBox rebranded, so they're now Liiv SandBox, or how do you pronounce that? Anyway, so they also did very few changes. So keeping Summit, OnFlick, Fate and Root, I think that's good. So yeah, Summit, he was playing a bit worse than he was in the past, but he's still a strong top laner regardless. Similar to Summit, a strong player, although last year he couldn't really shine all that much. Then Fate, he and Dove were quite okay, not really a strong point of the team, but similar to Fly, doing their job okay. Then Root was like a star in the night in many cases, and when the top half were struggling last split. And now getting Effort from SKT is obviously an upgrade. Effort alone is a very solid and good player. And yeah, sadly Gorilla and Joker before were doing, let's be nice, an okay job, but I can't sugarcoat it anymore. So yeah, Effort is clearly an upgrade, and yeah, will certainly do a great job for the future of the team. So overall, I think the team deserves the B+, and yeah, getting just a minor but very good upgrade after the old 2 substitutes retired, and overall look very solid and could climb up with some of the other 2 teams like Dragon X, for example, looking rather shaky. finishing Group A with NS RedForce, the new team for Songwei 1 Prince. Starting in the top lane, we have Rich, then Peanut, Bay, Dekodam and Kellen. They are keeping Rich and Dekodam. Rich, like a very hyped player for some. He does certainly well in solo queue, but we have to wait and see for more. Then Dekodam, a long-time dynamic player, and yeah, he's been with the team since 2019, so yeah, he's fulfilling the, let's call it, veteran role a bit here. So Peanut, obviously an upgrade over nearly every other player, so I think I don't have to talk much about this. Bay, in the mid lane, he's an unproven rookie from a decaying Griffin, and yeah, I think in comparison to Kuzan, who has played for like eons, I feel, it's hard to say that Kuzan was better because he was on a downhill. So yeah, I have some question marks here. Bay could surprise us, but obviously he's a bit shaky here. So then lastly Kellen, an old junior player, then being a member of GenG. He brings a lot of experience with him, and I think this is what's like overall a good change for this team. They, similarly to Afreeca, got mostly experienced players and then some younger players and substitute players. And I think, yeah, similar to Afreeca, but obviously they did it with a smaller budget, and as such their experienced players are not players like Bang, and their rookies are not players like Lehens, but players like Peanut and Bay. So a bit smaller in the budget department. I think the overall team rank is like C+. And yeah, it could certainly improve with Rich showing a bit more of himself, being enabled by Peanut, and similarly Bay as a rookie. Maybe he's quite good, maybe he's quite great. Yeah, obviously it depends a lot on how they can use a player like Peanut. So prediction for this group, obviously Damwon in first, they shouldn't really drop a game. Second would be close, but I think Afreeca Freecs can get it, then it's getting even closer. But I have more trust in SandBox players than the Dragon X rookies at the moment. And yeah, with NS RedForce being mostly untested, and for the last two spots, yeah, I'm also unsure. I mean, players like Peanut and Rich could play better and surprise us regardless. So yeah, but keeping with the first three, Damwon, Afreeca, and then SandBox. So after hearing of all that, you probably have your own idea of the teams and players. So yeah, please let me know what you think. Do you agree with my assessment so far? And what do you predict? I think we can agree with Damwon, but what about the other places? Who will not make it out of this group? Yeah, let me down below. In Group B, we start with the new and freshly rebranded team Fredit BRION with Hoya, Chieftain, Lava, Hanwha, Crescent. So yeah, how do we start there? Hoya, he's a trainee from Griffin, so a trainee. I can't really rank that all that high. And yeah, being on Griffin, who was a bit of a disaster the last time, can't really rank him all that high. Also, in terms of the players before on the team, we also don't know all that much about them. The upgrade and downgrade department is very difficult to say. But the clear upgrades, I think, are in the jungle and mid lane position with Chieftain and Lava. So yeah, I don't know about a lot about Fire Rain and Croco, as I said, but from what I found about them, players like Chieftain and Lava are individually better, and also the experience from these two should be very much highly regarded for the overall very young team. Moving to the bot lane with Hanwha, a long-time BRION and Fresh Blade, so the teams before Fredit BRION, right, in the rebrand chain, so he's very accustomed to the overall structure, but overall should be an okay player, nothing too outstanding, was what I found out. Then for Crescent, yeah, he may be a bit of a surprise package here. He's from T1 Academy, and especially the roster that won the last two Academy series. So yeah, he has some titles, although smaller ones, on his belt. And yeah, I think he could be a bit of a surprise for the overall team. But still, we have to wait and see, because currently there's also not really any way to evaluate how really powerful and good the academy system was in Korea before the franchising. As such, like, I can't really go out and say, okay, so he was on T1 Academy and he won some small tournaments here and there, so he would be like a godlike player. And yeah, maybe the academy system is as flawed as it is in NA in some cases. So I'm a bit on the fence over praising these players too highly. Overall team rank for the team is C++. Obviously they haven't played in the league before. They can only improve from challengers last year. We have with Lava and Chieftain a few familiar faces. They should also be around like a bottom more level. And yeah, they may surprise a bit, as I said, with players like Christian. But yeah, it shouldn't be like SandBox, Griffin or Damwon of the past years. Maybe they could do something, but not very likely. Coming to GenG, first for the Casper Cup. It's a bit important to note, GenG is using their academy roster, which I'm showing you right now on screen. They got some new players like Envy or Lonely, also loaned Karis, but overall should be way weaker than their main roster, which I will still talk about a bunch. But just so you know, for the predictions and so on, GenG is using this roster on the screen, and yeah, not their roster which I'm talking about now. GenG obviously has done no changes so far. This could change because off-season is still going on. But they're keeping Rascal, Clip, BDD, Ruler and Liiv. So yeah, they have not changed a thing. And still, on paper this team was great last year because yeah, I kept the players. But it was just kinda good. They got second in spring and what was it, third in summer. And yeah, for their goals that's probably a bit low. Also they did lose against G2 directly in quarters. So yeah, that's a bit of a letdown with such a like stacked team, if I might say so. So yeah, they're probably hoping for better results with the new meta. And I think it's a good thing to keep the team for at least another year to improve on the facts that you learned last year. So yeah, they're keeping this A+ team, but again, they're not going to use it in Casper Cup. And with the off-season still going on, there might be some changes here and there. Moving on to Hanwha Life, a team that spent quite a lot of money here. So starting in the top lane, Morgan, Cat, Chovy, Deft and Vista. Sorry for the mispronunciation of some names, but yeah, getting in the top lane. So Morgan should be an upgrade, but that's just because Curvy, he was not really playing all that well. And Morgan, he was playing in China for quite a while, and yeah, it looked quite good what he was doing. I found some VODs. Yeah, so I think I can safely assume that this is an upgrade for the team, although not a major one, and obviously will not be the star player. Also with Dudu and Riz, he has highly competition for this top lane spot. As such, yeah, we have to wait and see if Morgan is even the starting player, but in comparison to the other two, I thought Morgan was the better one, but yeah, I'm ready to be proven wrong here. A similar situation is in the jungle position. We have Cat and Johan. I think it's a downgrade to Haru, but this is just on paper because both are unexperienced as they come from academy teams. Yeah, I think Cat looks a bit better on paper, so yeah, I have him on the screen and before Johan, or Winter, how he was called. Then moving obviously to the best player on the team, Chovy. Yeah, if not for Faker, the best mid the past 2 years. Honestly, it's really astonishing how good he is. Still doesn't have a great team again. The GenG X team should have been a bit better. And the Griffin team also was, it was very good. But then there was a start debacle. So honestly, we saw it at Worlds. Even a player like Showmaker, who was on the world winning team, was losing lane to him. He's very, very great. So obviously an upgrade here. Similarly, Deft, one of the best AD carries of all time. So not much to say, even though Viper was solo carrying the team, and yeah, was like the player on Hanwha Life. Deft is obviously an upgrade. Viper now on EDG. Yeah, we won't see too much of him in the LCK. Then lastly in support position, Vista. Yeah, he's a long-time Hanwha Life player from the substitute and academy position, but he's not as good as Lehens, obviously, and he was switching around main team, substitute team, academy team, so even the organization is not really sure what to do with him. So yes, it's a bit of a sad downgrade here. Overall, there are like many new and untested players on the team. They could have a very strong 2 versus 7 in some games with Chovy and Deft. Then the next problem is like AD carries aren't really all that useful at the moment. The meta really doesn't favor them all that much. So yeah, it looks like a Chovy 1v9 team again. And yeah, I hope that they will improve what they have, and these new players may prove that they are very good. But as of now, I really think this is an elo hell team for Chovy probably. Still, someone like him could solo carry this. So yeah, team gets a B+. But now we're moving on to the next one, the team KT Rolster. So Doran, Bonnie, Yukel, Hybrid and Zeus. Yeah, so Doran obviously a very solid top laner. One of the like most solid players in LCK. It's obviously an upgrade over Ray or Sohan. And yeah, we don't talk about what's with Smap, okay? So Doran, no superstar or world champion player, but a completely solid one. So Bonnie and Gideon, the other option, like rookies, they're hard to judge. But the duo of Malrang and Bono also weren't looking all that convincing most of the time. I'm ready to be surprised and ready to be convinced that they are the upgrade they needed. Yukel in the top and the mid lane, no change. Again, he has some moments, but overall he's more the solid, okay-ish player. Hybrid, obviously a downgrade, even though he's not a terror player himself, replacing aiming. Yeah, that's a very hard thing to do. Going to the hot fire in the support position, Zeus. And Tucson and Smap weren't the great stars of the last split. This guy here is one who was a trainee for some years and played on some challenger teams. So to be honest, not playing too bad in what I found out, but I'm yet not really sold on him. But still, the support position for KT was like a dumpster fire last year. So I'm very hopeful that this is what they need. Because the Tucson and Smap situation, that was horrible. That was really horrible to look at. Anyway, the overall team gets a B- in ranking, keeping some key players but following the youth trend. Still not looking too sharp overall. May have to make some upgrades after the spring split. Looks okay. I don't think they could keep 6 players. Maybe they can, but I'm not really hopeful. I think aiming was just solo carrying this team too hard. And even though a player like Doran and Hybrid, they're good in their own right, I'm not sure if they can replace this carry effect. Moving on to the last team, but a quick disclaimer again. So T1 is using also their Academy roster, which I'm showing you right now on screen. They switched some players around from the main roster, like Roach, and got some new ones like Hoyt from Damwon Gaming, but overall should be obviously weaker than their main roster, on which I still will talk about that. And for this T1 Academy team is also a question if they are strictly using these players on screen, or maybe they're using substitute ex-Academy players like Zeus, Honor or Closer that are now have been moved to the main roster. They said Academy in their statements, so I assume it would be these players on screen here. But obviously there can be some changes, maybe swap in Carrier to get some playtime with him. I think if they say Academy, it will be these 5 here. The disclaimer that we could see a few different changes here. Moving to the SKT roster that we have all been waiting for. We see, similarly to the team like SandBox, very, very, very little changes. And keeping Kana, Kaz, Faker, Teddy, and just getting the upgrade in the bot lane position with Carrier. So Carrier and Teddy have been friends for years. So that synergy will be there. Carrier is also a very promising talent, being very young, and also he isn't a rookie because he already played a year on Dragon X. So I think that's a very good move here, having a player that already has some synergy. To the other position, we also have the substitutes for Zeus in top lane, Elim and Owner in the jungle position, Gumayushi obviously in the AD carry position, and Closer lastly in the mid lane position. Zeus is from, previously mentioned, the strong T1 Academy team, and Owner as well. So these players, if they should play for the T1 team on the Casper Cup, I think they could do quite well. And yeah, mid lane closer around like an A tier mid laner, I feel like, from what we saw, it was quite good. It's a bit shaky because he's quite young. And yeah, Faker, literally the best player ever, so yeah. The mid lane is very stacked for T1, even if some of them might fall ill or doesn't want to play, I don't know. The other one replacing him is yeah, also very good. Teddy and Gumayushi, so yeah, that's a question mark. We have to wait and see who is now finally playing as the main one. I do think it's Teddy because of the carrier change, but yeah, let's not talk about the last best of 5s from T1. Overall team rank should be A+ though, just the one upgrade, and besides the coaching stuff obviously, right? Coach Kim moved out, they got Zephyr and Danny from Damwon, and yeah, so let's hope they make it work. There's still like some question marks here, as I said, in the AD carry position. Still open with the rumor of Gumayushi starting for Casper Cup actually, and yeah, the same could be said about the jungle with Kaz and Honor in this case here. It's not all that fine and dandy for T1, but the players that they have are very good. They just have to figure out how, in which combination they're going to use these players. So prediction for the last group is very tricky, as T1 and GenG are clear favorites. Yeah, but they use their C, or like call them 3-tier teams. In which case I think a team like Hanwha Life could rise to the occasion, and then yeah, from there on it's like very hit or miss. I think a team like the T1 Academy team could do it really well, similar to GenG, who had like a very solid Academy team but not really outstanding. A team like Hanwha Life should have this, and then yeah, KT. I think KT could be in the top 3, and yeah, a team like Fredit BRION, I think they have to adjust more, so I have little hope for them to make it out, but yeah, I can't really say finally who will be the top 3 teams. My guess out of the blue would be Hanwha Life, then KT, and then probably SKT Academy, but yeah, it's just a guess at this point, because these Academy teams also been like rotating players, so I can't really say anything about synergy here. So again, I asked of you to let me know your stance on this part of the groups. Do you think a team like T1 should have made more upgrades, for example? Because yeah, they were not going to Worlds, maybe they should have changed more. Do you believe like Chovy and Deft can carry the young Hanwha Life roster? So yeah, please let me know what you think in the comments down below. And yeah, thanks for watching. I know this was quite long again. So thank you for sticking with me. In the playlist you can find some off-season roster changes, or maybe you're interested in the LCS content. Well, you can find that in the playlist as well. Anyway, hope you had a good time, and if you did, please like or comment. It really helps out a lot, especially feedback of any kind. If you're curious or interested in a teaser or some other stuff, I have a Twitter, which is also linked below. Anyway, that's it. So yeah, please stay safe, have some merry pre-Christmas days, and bye!